I'm Latoya Bates, and I am running for state assembly to represent Northern Dodge, Southern Fond du Lac, and just a little nugget of Columbia County. We are here today at Art in the Town in Beaver Dam as part of our 12 Days of Christmas, talking to small business owners to hear about how things are going and what we can do better here in our district. We're here today with Kris, and tell us a little bit about your business, Kris.
Sure. I have been here for 5 years, actually coming on 6. The business is Art in the Town. I started it out 10 years ago in 2015, almost 11 years at this point, doing paint parties. So I had everything in the back of my van. It was a mobile paint party business. After about 3 to 4 years, people started asking, well, can we do this or can we do that? Things that needed more of a brick and mortar space. So I started investigating, looking at properties that were downtown that were for sale or for rent or for lease. Took a crew, started investigating, and started looking at business classes. So I took my first business class with WIBIC, Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative Corporation. I'm going to give them a shout out because they were amazing. And then was in a class with, I want to say, close to 20 other people just like me who may have already done some small business work or were just getting started. So I knew I needed to write a business plan. I knew I had 5 years under my belt. I'm a K-12 certified art teacher as well. So I knew how to do teach art, plan, organize, budget, all that stuff. But I knew that if I was going to get a building, we're talking about a whole new level of things, right? So what is it really going to cost? And then what's available in our downtown? Beaver Dam in 2018, we had a lot of empty buildings, okay? So one of my goals when I became a mom in 2006 was, I was like, I always wanted to have a community arts center in downtown Beaver Dam. But in 2006, there were still a lot of empty properties. So I would put my baby in the stroller and walk downtown and look in windows and kind of see what's available. Like, how can we do this? Because I'm a big believer in downtowns. Revitalization seemed exciting.
Yes.
And I knew that we had a really nice art center, what was called Disciple Art Center at the time. But they did more gallery work and some smaller workshops. So I thought we could really do something like this and infuse the arts into the community and create a hub for everybody. Art for everybody, all ages, everybody. Come on in.
Beautiful.
How's that?
That's wonderful.
Okay.
It's really exciting. I love that you mentioned WIBIC. And back in my day, which was a few days, weeks, months, and years ago, WIBIC was just for women. And now they're very proud that they provide similar business classes and services for men. They are very open-gendered, but to me, it's important because there are so few places that really specialize in helping women start a business.
Right.
And though WIBIC is now more inclusive, they still are a great pillar in our community.
They are, and they offer loans, and they offer loans with interest, or also you can use Kiva, which I've done twice. If you want to know about Kiva, it's Kiva. It's all crowdsourced funding loans. So I am coming up on finishing my second Kiva loan. We did our first one for 10 grand, paid that off. Second one, 15 grand. And that is a 0% interest free loan, but you have to get X amount of people behind you. So it's really fascinating. I could go on and talk about all this, but like we've got, groups of people from Google in California and people in Europe, all kinds of Americans, groups of people that work for different companies or nonprofits that find us business owners who need money and then back us. It's just outstanding.
I would agree.
And I will do it again.
And I think it's also important that we remember, like, little guys like us, like me, myself, I can give 10, 15, 50 bucks to a small business, and it may not mean a lot for just me, but when we're joining together that crowd,
it's
it makes
amazing.
a great big difference.
Huge difference, amazing. And then lots of local folks and supporters, family and friends can give. You can give anonymously or you can give in your name, but you will be paid back. It is a loan, not a grant.
I love that.
Yeah.
Now, I think you mentioned this already, but I'm just going to highlight that. What made you want to start your business?
Well, I'll be honest. So my mom was an entrepreneur. She's deceased. She's been dead for 20 years. But she was an amazing artist and art teacher. Okay, so I always grew up with art around the house. And she started as an entrepreneur as a kid, making jewelry and selling it to fine department stores in Milwaukee.
Really?
Although she's from the Fox Valley areas where I grew up, okay? So she had excellent parents and grandparents that took her places, and that's been passed down to us. And my mother painted needlepoint in the 1970s and would sell her designs to companies who would mass produce her designs.
Wow.
But then she started a shop in the 1970s called Schumacher's, and she went back to college to Chicago to Floral Art School. She, for 9 months, did that. Got on a Greyhound bus on a Sunday night, and Dad took care of us. My dad was a hospital administrator. We learned how to cook and clean and do all those things on Saturdays, and then Mom would come home on the weekends and visit, but went off. And then with her business, she did fresh flowers, silk, cheese. They went to California and got educated on wine. So the biggest thing I would say is that I had curious parents who wanted to learn and wanted to travel and take and learn all the time. So I think the curiosity piece is what can take you where you want to go. You gotta be really into it. And I also grew up watching her work very hard and my father work hard. So like, I know what it takes. I did not want to be a business owner for the first 20 years of my career. I just need to be a really good teacher. Do you know what I mean? Because I knew how much my mom worked too. Like, she worked really hard. So when I say that, it's not meant to say that I'm afraid of hard work. It's simply, you got to be committed. You got to be all in because it's your business. You can't walk away.
It's a different mindset. Yeah, and I like what you said about being consistent and working hard, and that determination really matters. There's a lot of folks that get frustrated because it may not come easy, or maybe it comes easy at first, and then you find that it's going to be a lot more work and learning. But that persistency and that resilience really does matter. We talked a lot in the beginning about funding, and I want to just come back there perhaps.
Sure.
But what are some things that would really make a difference for you and your business? How could we at the state level, how could small government, how can we help?
I got some great ideas for you on this, because these are things, because I can zoom in and do details, but I'm a zoom out person, because I'm always thinking about, well, what would also be good for our downtown?
Yes.
Okay, so when I toured these buildings down here in 2018, I saw a lot of second floors uninhabited, right? I saw, like, on my second floor up here, we just fixed some of those spots up, but it's taken me a couple of years to do it, carefully and slowly, all right? If I had access to some funding to specifically renovate second floors, all right, that would be amazing. And I can tell you there are a lot of us down here and around the corner that if we had access to those kinds of funds, we could really work on our infrastructure, which I know Beaver Dam really needs some help with, is some housing.
Yes.
There are some things that happen at the state level, but some of those grants or funding did not work with people like me, because you had to have like so much money in, and it was unattainable. So I think if we got to kind of whittle down and look a little more closely at what are the actual needs. Like, I think if you had a round table with a bunch of us and you asked us, we could tell you what those are. Or when you get into an old building like this, it's built in the 1860s, that's been through a fire or two in the late 1800s. This was Ned Smith's Oyster Depot. And on the second floor, we had a New York Metropolitan Life Insurance Company and apartments. So, they're old. So when you walk in, I still have one space on the second floor that is uninhabitable. We just did some insulation, fixed some flooring. It's going to need electric heat. We need more than what's out there available to us. Okay, so I would say, based on what the city needs for housing or spaces and places, we need to talk to the owners, get up there, see what's going on. How can we get you 20 grand or 15 grand? Or what do you need, 25 to make this happen? And find us some financing that's affordable. It can be paid back. It will be done. And then let's make these exciting, interesting spaces. But it's really like, what else does the community need? You know what I mean?
There's some really great programs that I'm sure you know about, like WEDC has great programs, and they've been in recent years really funding rural prosperity, which is great.
I'm aware.
But to your point, these are very often matching grants
Yes.
where you need to have so many thousands of dollars on hand
That's right.
in order to qualify for those.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned previously, lots of the state funds seem to go to large corporations and they never quite make it down to our small towns and small cities.
Yeah, and I think, again, I would say, what do we need here? Like, what do we need? We did some planning as a community here based on what infrastructure needs, housing needs. So how much we want to continue to bring more towards some of these existing structures that we can do some work with. You know, we're getting more foot traffic down here. More of us are coming down. What else do we need? I know that a lot of that planning's been done. I think it would be coming back and looking at those things. And I want to say this too. I want to shout out to WDC. They did a story on us, but we also got a was it $10,000 makeover grant. So we experienced that too. That was fantastic. With Retail Works and WDC, and that was, I mean, we did huge transformations, and that was only being open 3 years.
Yes.
We got that.
That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah. You want to talk about how many jobs I made here? It's probably been over, I want to say at least 35 over the last 5 years.
Yes.
So, you know, bookkeeper, accountant, payroll. I have, 7 staff right now? 7 to 9? So I mean, it sound that way, but it's like we're shifting.
Yes.
Okay? So right now we're going to kind of tweak things a little bit and tighten up the focus a bit here for 2026. I view that as an opportunity to do some pivoting. What's working really well here? What do we need to change? Like any good restaurant, it's going to change the menu. We're going to have some core things that we know customers really love and continue to do, like building our pottery programs and our wheel programs and our hand building, but also what's not popular, what's done. What do people want? So we're going to go out to our customers too and ask them some things that they're looking for. But we're paying attention to those things. But that mindset also comes from my parents too, where my mom would have said, okay, we're done with the way this store looks now. It's time for a renovation and we're going to change it up. But that's just part of, I think, life. Trying new things on.
I think so. I have one final question for you. What is the best thing, the thing you love the most about your business?
Meeting new people. I get to meet so many people in this community I would never have met before. And so that's what doing the paint parties mobile did, is I got to meet so many people who would call me up, invite me to their garage to paint or their backyard, or we'd go as far as up as LeClaire Farms in Calumet County where I'm from and paint there. Lots of different business owners and a lot of women business owners who want to collaborate because we know it's win-win for all of us. I bring my part, they bring theirs, their tasty food or whatever it was, and it's a winning combination. It just you're just leveling each other up, which I'm a firm believer in too.